A good look at the vast grandstand and huge crowd on hand at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Our aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. Goodyear, get there. Tony Stewart is trying to get there as fast as he can. 41 laps, 61 miles left to race tonight, and he is 1.1 seconds ahead of Casey Mears, whose uncle Rick won the Indy 500 4 times, whose dad Roger won the Baja 1000, one of the 4 Hendrick drivers, and the one who hopes to find victory lane in Nextel Cup racing for the first time this season and maybe tonight.
Well, right now is when the driver, fatigue, it's not really the kind of fatigue that maybe a lot of folks are thinking about, but you are mentally, and now you're kind of whooped up on physically. You've got to really focus hard these last 50 laps.
And Darrell, I think this is when you start hearing things, feeling things, and the crew chiefs are just sitting up on that box going, oh, wind.
Larry, you've been strapped in this thing now for 5 hours. Your buns are burning. Your ears are ringing. Your head's hurting. Your eyes are burning. And you want to get this thing over with.
And despite all the on-track carnage, there's only 9 cars out of the race. Mark Martin currently 6th. A couple spots better than where he restarted. Denny Hamlin, a little bit of a fade to 7th, just in front of his teammate J.J. Yaley.
I think all you can say about Denny Hamlin, he has just survived this thing tonight. He has not had the race car that he was looking for. Much better than he had in the All-Star Challenge the other night.
I would have bet you that he had knocked the fence down before the night's over with. He has been laying on that thing all night long, and he just about hit it there off turn 4, but the right side's clean.
You saw J.J. Yaley having one of the best runs of his Nextel Cup career, and Kyle Petty trying to come back to a race that he's won before. He is on the lead lap, and Kyle running well in the top 10. Martin Truex Jr. got the free pass, a caution to go, and despite all the beats and the bangs, he's a top 10 car right now. th is Reed Sorensen, 12th Carl Edwards, Jeremy Mayfield, Ricky Rudd, and Brian Vickers all on the lead lap. There's a look at Reed Sorensen.
And Carl Edwards right behind him in that 99 car. Remember the lick that car took back on lap 221 with his teammate when he had a cut tire. Here he is back well in the top 15 trying to get to the top 10 with this 99.
Yeah, that 99 car took out 2 other cars, but he's still going.
Jeremy Mayfield is the leading Camry in the race. He's 13th.
And he was spinning a 360, no pun intended, on the front stretch. There's almost not a car in the top 10 that has not had a problem of some kind tonight.
And Vickers is sitting there. He's hanging on. Last car on the lead lap with no power steering.
4th place has changed hands. Jimmy Johnson, after that pit road miscue, is clawing his way back to the front. He is still 5 seconds behind Tony Stewart, but he's now the 4th place car. Krista?
Chad Knaus told Jimmy Johnson, the closer you get, the better you will be. Our car is set up to be out front. Go get them.
But I believe strongly that if we do not get a caution here with 34 laps to go, this is not going to be about who has the best car. This is who can make it to the end on fuel, and I get a feeling of our top 15 cars, there may not be very many that can make it to the end.
If any at all. Steve Burns.
Mike down in the pit box with Tony Gibson. Tony, you told me this afternoon about all the changes you made to that race car. They seem to have worked. Laps winding down. What do you do now?
Now we're just going to wait, and then as soon as we got to pit for gas, we'll take gas only and take it to the end. We're pretty good right now. We're about a tenth better than those guys in front of us. It's just so hard to run the top and be consistent right now, but he's doing a great job. You know, this race team's done a great job to be under what we're under. It's just a tribute to Tony Jr. He's built a great race team, so everything goes to him. He's done a really good job. All these guys are still focused, so we're just going to hope and try to get some top 5 out of here.
Thanks, Steve. Let's go to the pit of the 5th place car and find out about fuel mileage for Denny Hamlin. Matt.
They're moving much better down here in the 11 pit, Mike. Now, you throw in the scenario of a possible green-white checkered finish if we go into overtime, I think the 11 and most everyone else will be in trouble. But I believe that their numbers, judging by their faces, a lot better than they had originally thought. And you also, Darrell, talked about one thing about how to try to save fuel inside the car. In the old days here at Gibbs, Bobby Labonte would get better fuel mileage because he was a right-foot breaker, and Tony is a left-foot breaker. But Tony and Denny both brake with their left, so their numbers should be close.
30 laps, 45 miles to go.
A driver can save fuel. I know he can't save a lot. I don't know if he can milk 5 out of it or not, but he can milk a couple out of it.
Brother, can you loan me a gallon?
Might only be a half gallon you need.
Laps and the fuel load winding down. 25 laps to go at Lowe's Motor Speedway. With Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds, I'm Mike Joy. Tony Stewart has a lead of 1.8 seconds over Casey Mears. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 3 seconds off the lead. Jimmy Johnson 4.4 back in closing. Denny Hamlin 5 seconds behind the leader. And the large possibility of needing a pit stop for fuel before the laps run out. Nextel helps NASCAR and NASCAR fans get things done. Who is the Nextel getting it done call of the race? Darrell.
I'm going to go with the second place car. Casey Mears, Darian Grubb. I like what they've done tonight. Casey Mears, the Mears family known for Indy and what they've done up there. Good to see this guy. Really had a great run last night. Second. If he runs second tonight, he's had a great weekend.
Larry?
I'm going to give it to a group. I'm going to give it to a group as we're a third of the way into this 2007 season. This manufacturer listened to their drivers. They moved the power band on their engines. They came here. They have almost led a third of this race. I'm going to give it to Toyota Racing. You know what? They're getting it done tonight like Sprint.
Yesterday in practice, Tony Stewart didn't like the car, didn't like the track, didn't like the tire. Greg Zipadelli said, park it. And they ended practice a little bit early. Greg said, we know what we can do to give you the car you need when you need it. Boy, they have done it. Stewart with a 2.5 second lead with 22 laps to go.
And that's that trust thing that a driver and a crew chief have to have. That guy there has to believe in his driver. That driver has to trust his crew chief.
Well, they're the longest running pair, driver crew chief pair in Nextel Cup.
They're in their 9th season together. Greg Zipadelli has never crew chief another driver in Nextel Cup. Tony Stewart has never been with another crew chief in Nextel Cup.
Remember Kansas last October. Another fuel mileage kind of race, and it was Stewart that outlasted the crowd.
With that very race car right there.
You know, when I hear that about that very race car and the car does this here and the car likes this here, it always reminds me of what I was told one time. Boy, that car ain't got a clue where it is.
It has no idea on the map, does it?
Second place battle heating up here between the two camo cars. And Matt Kenseth is in for fuel. Dick.
And this was a planned stop, and Matt Kenseth made Robbie Reiser tell him a second time, are you sure you want me to pit now? They are making a chassis adjustment, outside tires. They're gambling that nobody else can make it without fuel either. They couldn't get the job done. They could not have gone the distance.
So a little insurance pitting with 20 laps to go.
As good as these tires are, they don't drop off that much. I'd have stayed out there till the bitter end because a caution right now and you are done.
And Steve, you only need just a splash of gas, but we're still curious. Can Greg Zipadelli in that 20 car, do they think they can make it?
Larry Mack, the update is no. They are 2 laps short. Greg Zipadelli saying to Tony Stewart right now, we cannot risk it. We're going to stop and get 2 seconds worth of gas to make it.